the destination for TV superfan discussion, Afterbuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Okay, turn it up, girl.
Liven it up in here.
Yes, because that episode, honey.
After an episode
Man.
like that,
We need a little pick-me-up.
We do.
it was very necessary. We are back. And just a quick shout out, me and my good guys here now, we're chatting it up on Twitter this week about this song and the Butterfly album.
Yes.
We live for Mother Mimi.
Yes. We're all lambs here.
We
Can you
do.
get her on season 2 host?
Maybe.
I would appreciate that.
That would be iconic
You
for
should
like a
talk to
deep
Steven about
episode.
I'm going to see what I can do. But to get things popping here, I am Keith Andre, of course.
I'm Jaimi Gray.
I'm Mariel Turner.
And you know it's your girl, Shawna O.
Yes.
Hey,
We
back.
Honestly, I'm just trying to balance out the energy because I felt like that episode, it took a turn. I mean,
Yes.
Yes.
It was pretty dark, so I guess really quickly, you guys, what are some quick thoughts?
Oh my goodness. Overall, I feel like it was just a lot about betrayal and a lot about heartbreak. You know, truth hurts, but I feel like, you just kind of learned a lot about people and true intentions and, tough love.
Okay.
I felt like it was very much about the struggle and just how hard life can be and how you even when you reach a certain point, you might end up right back where you started, having to, grind
God
and
forbid.
hustle. And, yeah.
Yes. And for me, the theme was whatever decisions you're making, it doesn't matter how good it feels right now, you will pay. Like you will have to suffer or reap consequences from what you're deciding.
Yeah.
Elektra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Call her out.
I guess I would definitely have to agree with all three of y'all. Another little sidebar, I've been catching up on Charm School. Y'all remember Charm School?
Yes,
And I just
Monique.
seen an episode where she was like, when you do clownery, the clown.
Exactly.
And that's what I feel
That's a
like with this
classic.
week's episode. Not that they all did clownery, but Lord.
Right.
It's like everybody had to pay for decisions that they have made.
Right.
So let's jump right into it. We're going to start at Blanca's house because, she was the detective on the scene.
Right.
We've all been trying to figure out what was going to happen with Papi and the drug usage. So, y'all, what are our thoughts here?
I personally feel like Blanca was tripping just a little bit. And
bit.
this is why. First, I thought he was selling crack from the get-go. When I was like, okay, I
Right.
can understand. But he was just selling weed. And when I found that out, I was like,
But it was the 80s.
Everyone's like, it's just weed.
But it was the 80s.
I mean, it's true. It was the 80s. It was a whole
So
different
that was,
world.
like, huge
You
to
know, the whole war on drugs. I get it. But
Just a little she like it was just a little herb.
She said her house, her rules. Like, she's giving them shelter, food, they're getting off the streets. Like, you need to, take advantage of that and then do your due diligence. Don't go out here and just do what you want to do. Like, she told him. He knew.
He
You
did
knew.
know the
He
whole
did.
time. I feel like I could appreciate the fact that she definitely came from a place of love. We saw her sit down with all of the kids and try to get the tea out of all of them. But Ricky was of course the one that gave Papi
of
up.
course.
Ricky.
But I appreciated some of that dialogue because she said, well, she kind of manipulated him in some ways. They could identify with each other's struggle. But I like that she said, I come from the streets, but you know what? This is my house. This is our house, and I'm trying to protect it. And I know if drugs get involved or around here, then that's something that's detrimental to our community.
To
whether
everybody.
gay, black, right, and across the board. So I got where she was coming from, but it was just like, oh my God, really?
Well, y'all know. Let's bring it on over here to Blanca's daughter.
Okay.
You guys know Blanca is trying to find her footing as a parent. She loved her mother, but her mother didn't accept her for who she was, and she's trying so hard to accept these children, but at the same time she has this diagnosis in her life, and she knows life is short. Like, I don't have time to allow you to make so many mistakes. I have to try to teach you this stuff with tough love so that if I'm gone, you know how to fend for yourself without selling drugs, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also a good display of, in some instances, tough love is what's required. You got to let people fall on their sword. She put him out. He got his stuff. He left. He went to jail. He came out and he was like, oh, I'm not doing drugs anymore. I'm not dealing anymore.
Right.
Now, we'll see how long that lasts. But I feel if I was a parent, it would be good. You would kind of walk away feeling like, well, at least doing this was not something that was done in vain. Like, you're still here.
Right.
You have the chance to rectify some decisions that you make.
Yeah,
Right.
I think sometimes you need to kind of get that tough love, but it just That just seemed like, okay, let's give him one more shot.
I mean, it's
I see what you mean.
When you think like the first thing that you're caught doing something wrong, you're put out. Like,
I mean, she did say lies are a form of disrespect.
she did.
And you know she don't
That's
take
true.
no disrespect.
That's true.
You can't take it in that world. You have to demand your respect. And I think that although she needs to take her own advice, this is not the streets.
Right.
You don't need to be demanding that much respect. This is your child. So,
Right.
You know.
Or so
Let me
she
ask,
said.
do you guys does it make you feel differently about Damon's mother's response? Like, as soon as she found like the porn or whatever and kicking him out, tough love. It's a similar.
They're very similar. They're very
wavelength
similar.
we're on.
I mean, but one's like an illegal activity and one is just who you are. You know what I mean? As a person. So I don't know if you can compare like him being gay and him.
They were
I
both
see where
very
you're going
dramatic.
though, right?
Yeah,
It was
I'm
both
just saying
overly
as far as,
dramatic.
like, hey, you do this, you're out.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No conversation, no negotiation.
Yeah, and that way it's pretty similar actually.
Yeah.
They're
I
very
feel,
similar.
I feel it was different because she allowed Damon to be abused in the home by his father. So it's almost like, you do not need to kick me right out. You owe me. Like, I'm not even developed all the way because I can't even be myself and I'm in an abusive situation.
Okay.
So, you know.
I can take that. Well, getting back to Papi, because this was,
His
they made it his story, and I almost feel like it wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like we only got just a little glimpse of a taste of what we can expect or what we'll see from Papi. We did get to see his response to being thrown out. You know, he's very much a guy who feels that whatever the setup is, I'm still like in control of my destiny. I still don't have anybody rooting for me. I'm still doing my own thing. So I at first I was thinking like, oh, this is a humbling experience for him. He went to jail, but then when he comes back, he's like, I got two mothers.
Ooh, that stung me to my core.
I feel like, you know what? So Papi, he's still young. Because I didn't really know what his age was, but then he said he's 20 years old with an 8th grade education. So I think that plays into it, you know, with his immaturity. He's not used to anyone really giving him rules at all if he came from the streets. So is he really going to take Blanca seriously?
Yeah.
You know? So that's what it was. But I wasn't feeling Ricky. Like, I get that you were trying to, you know, hold it down for your own spot, but I just felt like it seemed like he was trying to sabotage him. He didn't wait. So I'm like, Ricky, like, you kind of set everybody up.
He did, but I see where he was coming from. I think that maybe they could have done better with those pieces, because it didn't come across clearly that the reason he was telling is because he felt that his position was in jeopardy until it was like too late, and it was just dialogue about it. Right. So I get that, but I think the intent behind Ricky's character was, she's talking to me like this. If I don't tell and she finds out I didn't tell, I'm getting thrown out. If it's me or you, it's me.
Right.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
So,
from that perspective, I kind of do see where he was coming from, but I felt similar when he ratted him out. I was like, for real, Ricky?
Like, you could have waited around a little bit. Like,
you give it, you know.
That way you can all talk about it again. Like, y'all just in the hallway, like, she can't hear you. She can hear you.
As soon as you're called down, you're like,
y'all
close the breakdown.
Close the door all loud.
The part that got me was when she said, is he doing drugs? He like, no, he ain't doing drugs. He felt like, I can answer this with an honest answer. But then she hit him with the follow-up question, and that was what got him. Now, my thing is, they spent so much time on Angel telling him not to say a word and all of this. He was not impacted at all. Now, were you guys surprised by the siblings' reactions? They were not happy with him.
I wasn't surprised. I thought that made sense, and I have wrote that down. I wanted to definitely talk about it because I think it was an important moment to show as far as like families and siblings situations. It's always going to be like that. I got 5 brothers and sisters.
Right.
And so we're going to have this powwow. We talking to you. We not talking to you.
Right.
You the one to blame. You know,
We'll
I
hold a
really
grudge forever.
appreciated that. Yes.
This grudge is not over.
I will say I did like that they mentioned that he was a 20-year-old with an 8th grade education. So I kind of feel similar to you, Keith, that they should have dived into his Papi's background a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I did like that one tidbit of learning, like, he really has had to struggle. He doesn't have education. I kind of think Blanca should have been like, okay, I kind of understand, you know, he has no, in his mind, he has no other options. And I think there was really no level of understanding of where he came from.
For sure. And maybe we'll get to see more of that, I think, we only have 1 episode left, but we know we'll talk about news and gossip. We know there's more to come here. So maybe I feel like this is just the beginning of Papi's story still. Because he's going to be faced with some real challenges and some real consequences.
Right.
But before we move on, any last thoughts on Blanca's house? Because baby,
and
she put her
Papi.
foot down.
I mean,
did.
Papi, you also see his situation with his family. Like he doesn't have any really options. Like his options are all horrible.
Right.
So from his brother to so and so being locked up and in jail, you know, it's just like you started to feel bad for him. Even though I felt like he was being is obstinate the word? I felt like he was just very rude towards Blanca when it's just like, calm down. You know, she's giving you something.
Just try to remember.
Right, like let's remember who you are and who's letting you in their house. So you know, it's just sad. Like I felt really sad for Papi.
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
Right.
I mean, it was an unfortunate situation.
You saw the dude. He was cooking on the stove. Like one person was shooting up something. Like it was just getting worse. It was like it was almost like a prediction that things are just gonna get worse and worse for Papi. Especially since he's going to a new house with people who are just kind of using him. I'm a little worried actually.
Yeah,
But he seems comfortable in that though.
Well, I don't know. I think that he's easily adaptable. I don't think that he shows his comfort level well, because I think that he was challenged when he went back to his brother and he's like, oh no, do not put me in the hood. I'm not that guy.
Right. I've been in the park.
Like I can do the parks, the piers,
right.
some weed,
we'll
but
definitely
this is too much.
see kind of where things go. And before we dive into that tidbit with the new house mothers,
Lord.
from worst to worst, because we were happy to see Elektra back this week.
Yes.
But it's like, oh boy. And a couple weeks ago, I think there are some YouTube comments that I was making with y'all as far as prediction wise, and just feeling like, you know, she knew that she wanted this, but at what price? So we meet Elektra and she's down to
Mr. Ford.
with the Mr. Ford, aka Detective Station.
Okay.
It's been 2 months. And I didn't know that she hadn't told him. Like, this is the first time they're back together, and he's like, oh. She's like, I'm a full woman.
And he's like,
What
bye.
did you think?
See you later.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Oh my
was so
goodness.
heartbreaking.
I mean,
to
she
me.
was so ready to get intimate. I mean, get right back in the groove of thing. And he's like, oh, baby, you didn't believe me, but this is going to cost you.
Yeah, it was so sad to me.
It was.
It was just very sad and dark to see that she's trying to be her best self, the person that she's always wanted to be. And by doing that, she's had to sacrifice basically her whole life. She lost her house, she lost her apartment, her children. I mean,
Everything.
you know, it was just really, it was really sad to see it.
Yeah, she definitely went down a slope. I mean, so she was faced with Mr. Ford and then trying to combat that, like, oh, a week you'll come to your senses. Then she tries to go home. Her kids are not here for it. Eviction notice. I'm like, oh, girl.
Yeah.
I never
That's
expected that.
embarrassing.
Now, I will admit, I thought she at least had it together. Like,
Paid
she
the
really
bills.
is so, like, fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to say fake, but she's, like, able to put on this mask where you really believe that she has got it together. I wrote down that I think she's in the stages of, like, grief or loss because they, like, shock. You know, she was, like, totally shocked when he said that. Denial. She's like, no, you're not. You're fine. You're not gonna have a problem. And then when she got home, anger. She started taking it out on the kids, and she just was on a rampage. Just everything.
I feel like definitely Penthouse Princess is no more.
Yeah.
But I feel like she's such a what's the word I'm looking for? I feel like she's very insecure. She's a huge vessel for just insecurity, you know. And first of all, she had 15 years that she was with this man. I think that she thought she had something to show for it, and it was nothing.
Wow.
You know, and I think that was really sad to see. You know, because she thought that she could get him back. She thought that she could reel him in, and she had nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And I think that's not unlike most women who
I was
I
just
mean,
about to say that.
be in situations like that, and you looked up and years later and it's like, wow. So I think that's something that shows like the commonality of the human experience. I think in this case, and later we'll talk about Angel and Stan, but just kind of that whole approach where as a trans woman you are not allotted enough space to like actualize yourself or to be actualized, because the moment that you are actualized as a woman, you're met with discontent.
Right.
Mr. Ford is out. She's trying to go back to her old ways, meet guys. They're like, oh, no,
don't
ma'am.
have that?
Right.
That's
Like,
not-
Put that
I
in your
want something
ad.
special.
Fine print.
It's
Something.
true fetish, like they're fetishizing.
Right.
Is it
Fetishizing.
Yeah.
They are doing that to her, and it's really unfair because she is truly a class act at the end of the day. As much as she get on my nerves, she's truly a class act. So it's like, don't diminish who she is. She's happy, but I mean, she's gonna have to seek her own happiness from within.
100%. And she has to take ownership of that part of the puzzle as well. I think that kind of the audience that you've catered to. You know, she was very upfront when she met the gentleman about, I need a house, and you need between these plots and these. I need expensive gifts. And he's like, okay, cool.
He's like, that's fine.
I was shocked at how demanding she was just right off the bat. I was like, you are a bold girl.
I liked
But
it.
she's been built to be that way. I feel that she's used every part of her experience as a trans woman, or, you know, however her life is, to her advantage. And it's gotten her where she is, and now she's realizing that I need more than that. You know?
Can we also get into the acting though with Elektra, because her acting can be very over the top, whether some see that as like spectacular acting or not. I'm just wondering, do you feel like that acting is over the top because of everything that she's gone through, you know, so she feels the need to kind of be extra? Or what do you guys think?
I think she's won a million trophies, and so she feels like, baby.
Yes, exactly.
Anybody?
Like, that's who she is.
Does anybody want to ask me a question?
Right.
It's like
she's classic. Because even Miss Aphrodite was like, "You are Elektra," like, you know, she's everything. So I think she's just so used to that life.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely a part of like the core of who she is. She's like this grandiose image, and even the wordplay, like how they write for her, is so like succinct or different.
Yeah.
But it puts you in the mind of like Mariah Carey. You know, the way she
Right, like a diva.
Like,
diva.
She's a diva.
let's be clear.
Right.
This is the expectation.
Right.
And I also feel like this is like it really does show, you know, take people at their word. I think it's a good lesson that could be applied across humanity. Like if somebody says, I would only get down with you if you do X, Y, Z, don't assume if you do something else,
Well, maybe.
it's gonna be something else.
Nope.
Like
Is that a word?
if he's saying this, you need to take him for what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because it is just no guarantee that he's going to change his mind. And I think that's what Elektra had to learn the hard way, sadly.
She
That
gonna
is a
learn it.
rule.
I mean, she's still learning, but I mean, by the end, we see a Elektra back at the peep show. I mean, she's really at her last card.
Yeah.
And she's really faced with like the reality of her life, and faced with realizing that it's different from the way she sees it in her head.
But even in that moment, she was just so elegant. Like,
Yeah, she was stunning.
She definitely was not downtrodden. It's like she has a resilient spirit, and she was giving face, giving body, giving trench life, giving hair. I was just like,
Yeah,
I would come peep that show.
she definitely kept her chin up, and I think that too is just something that comes with the trans woman experience. Earlier in the dialogue, Blanca was telling, I think Papi was just talking about how it's okay for Angel to do the work that she does, but I can't do what I do. And she was just saying how, like, as a trans, you have to work where it can come. It's very different from what you're doing. So I think that really shined through tonight's episode as well, just the experience. And I think that's probably one of the things that made it so dark is because it goes past the illusion and it goes into, like,
the
actualization.
reality.
Yeah, the reality
That's a
of
word.
these people's lives.
Yes, everyone dealt with reality tonight.
Okay.
Everyone.
They did. Moving right along. Well, before we move into more reality, because this is, Pose is a drama. It comes on Afterbuzz Drama Channel. So can we talk a little bit about Afterbuzz TV Network?
Yeah, we can. Let me reach on over and grab my script. Okay, so let's talk about how Pose is a drama, and we will tell you in news and gossip what's going on, but I'll tell you one thing, we're going to cover this show for a while. Okay?
Yes,
we have all after shows for all of your favorite TV shows. As you know, we got dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans than us, and you guys know that. We need your help, though. We're asking you to just subscribe to our channels, one or more. That means one or more, aka all of them. Okay? And then YouTube is going to suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help Afterbuzz continue to grow. If you're worried about those notifications, you already know they're optional. You guys are in the computer age. You know what's up. And then let us know that you followed all of us in the comments. Give us all the love that we deserve, because we always give you that love, and that's what we need here at AfterBuzz TV. Thank you for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, it works out.
Yes.
I be getting notifications like, hold on.
Right, we want to know your opinion.
Yes.
Which one is this?
Right.
I do like
I've
it.
gotten hooked on 90 Day Fiance, because that's where Keith is on,
Yes.
and Married at First Sight because of this
Yes.
network. So.
Flaws is amazing too, y'all. I'm on that show. But also, like, when you subscribe, they recommend other videos too, which I like. So I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this. Let me click that.
Right? It reminds me of like Apple Music, how like you
Yeah.
like stuff and then
Suggestions.
it builds the playlist. Like
Yes.
YouTube kind of does that for content wise. So that's always good. But getting back into this content and the drama. So, Angel and Stan.
Ooh.
Still a hot mess.
Okay. Mariel, I thought that you were going to be, well, you tell me how you feel, because I felt like you were going to be kind of satisfied with this, only because you've been calling it.
She has.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not satisfying because I love Angel, right? I want the best for her.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, girl, how did you think this was going to, like, this is
Yeah.
how it goes, you know?
Yeah.
And I just think Stan needs to leave her alone, honestly. I feel like he's toxic.
He doesn't know what he wants.
Yeah.
He doesn't, but I don't think that makes him toxic. I mean, granted, he's definitely toxic for her. There are two people who are trying to figure life out. And the good thing about the display of how their relationship breaks down is it's kind of like an honest approach. They have dinner, you spend the night, then you want to say you're my boyfriend. I take you to the ball, which
And
was
then you
overwhelming.
Right.
You know,
Go.
you guys, this was the worst ball to be introduced to.
Why would she?
That's probably why.
ball?
He was like, I don't
to
know
be
what
at
this
the
is.
one that Patty was at.
Exactly.
You know, where she was just
Like
Glamour.
the Hollywood glamour.
You know,
exactly.
Stunning.
a better introduction to the lifestyle.
But can I just say that I don't think that even that would have been well, because what
Yeah.
Stan was searching for, he was seeking the truth. That's what he kept saying. I'm seeking the truth. I'm seeking, because he probably felt like, okay, so I'm not with my wife and kids, so maybe I like this life.
Right.
And then he got there and he's just like, okay, and they're all making fun of him and coming up to him and doing all this stuff, and he just felt cringy and just unaccepted in that place. Although I did feel a little satisfied with that, because people need to know you're ostracizing other people.
Right.
Do you like the way it feels to feel left out and not out of place?
Yeah.
To be the minority.
Well,
in the
you need
room.
to take that into your heart and mind
Yeah.
and move on in your life with that.
I agree
Yes.
with what you said, Shawna, because, you know, when they were speaking on the couch in their apartment, you saw how Stan was like, yeah, well, you know, I have my 2 kids, because she was like, are you going to leave your wife? And he told her off the bat, like, we're still kind of working on things, we're mad at each other, but this is what it is. So I think that was kind of foreshadowing to what he might do in the future. He doesn't really know what he wants. So he's trying to figure it out. And I think that's also why he said, I love you, which, you know, I don't think I'd ever heard Stan say, I love you in the previous episodes. We heard Angel say that he said he loved her, but I think this was the first one where we actually heard him say, I love you.
I don't remember.
Wow, I totally
Wrong.
skipped it and missed it. Now-
Right. I feel like Stan treats her kind of like a yo-yo, right? So in one minute he's like, I'm your boyfriend, I'm not going to answer a date. Like, it's going to be me and you, baby. And I love you and all this stuff. And then literally the next day he's gone. You know, and then
He's an
you
Aquarius.
know he's going to come back. Like, oh, I just didn't.
He better
Figuring
not come
myself
back.
He's too fickle.
You know, I don't know
Yes.
if he's gonna come back. I see what you're saying. I don't know if I'll liken him to a yo-yo, only because I feel that he and they both just set the wrong, like, improper expectations.
Yeah.
That it's another case of like this illusionary idea in your head, and you don't realize how the reality of our lives can collide. But they
Right.
did have that moment where they had that conversation, which was good. I thought they were very adult about it. And even Angel, when she told him, well, this is because you're a white boy from the suburbs.
Right.
You're privileged, so you don't see the world this way. So I get that. But what was disappointing to me in Stan is just that there's no effort. It's like, I'm shocked off the bat. I don't think I want this. And then the next day, all the furniture is gone out the apartment.
Completely dramatic.
That
Oh,
was.
it's over.
Yeah.
But let's not forget, his wife had
Yeah,
already let him.
so-
Patty had let him know you will be here until the lease is up. So all he did was shorten that lease a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
But that's how you know how seriously like he's taking it. It's just he does not know what he wants. But for him to make such a dramatic move like that without telling her, it's like she's like another Elektra in a sense. Like they,
Yeah,
they don't really
it's really
care.
unfortunate the way that these men are ending up relationships. I mean, there's
That's
like
how a lot
this
of them are
non-
in general.
Right.
In
The
2018.
tea.
But
The
what
tea.
but I like the separation though, because it's like Elektra is getting left because she became a full woman, and then Angel is not a full woman yet, and she still has her parts and everything, but she's still getting left. It's almost like, okay, you can't win for losing because you're not rooting this relationship in honesty. Elektra wasn't honest with Mr. Ford, and Angel wasn't honest with Stan.
But
I
Stan's
mean,
not
with,
being
or
honest.
herself. I mean, she was honest with Stan, but she wasn't honest with herself. More so.
Stan doesn't know who he
Okay.
is or what he wants. because if he did, we wouldn't even be going through this. He doesn't know.
And that's okay.
He told us.
It's okay not to know where you're going to end up, but you have to be honest in the approach.
I think that's the thing. It's okay to end a relationship. If you're unhappy, if you're like, I don't know what I want, there's a way to do it. You don't just move out all your furniture and go time. Like disappear. Like, you should sit that person down. You should have explained to Angel. And I think they did start on that a little bit on the curb, but there was no closure to the situation when you're like, look, I can't be with you until I know what I want for myself. Right. And that conversation never happened, and that's the issue, I think, for me.
And I think fear makes you make those type of decisions. He probably felt very fearful of the whole situation. And I thought that maybe watching Angel walk would have just been the saving grace and be like, okay, now I see you doing your thing, so I see where you're coming from. But he was like, baby, I'm out.
Yeah, by that time, he was already clocked out anyway. She should have, things could have been different if she ended the night when he asked.
Like maybe bring him in private.
I'm not good with seeing this. I need to go. And she's like, no, I really need you. I want to show you this. So.
But that's her boyfriend, right? So it makes sense why she felt.
It's just like, it's like introducing, like if my boyfriend is like, oh, I don't want to meet your friends right now. That's okay.
Right.
And I've come to terms, it's okay.
Right. You don't surprise him with a party with all your friends.
I'm not going to be like, come on, you're going to meet all three. You're going to come into the clothes after. So there's a balance. There's compromise to it. But it just really sucks. I mean, I really left the episode feeling so badly for Elektra and Angel, because they have to go back to these lives that nobody wants. You don't want that for anyone. She has to go back to the pier and like work, doing the sex work and doing the peep show. It's just it's so unfortunate.
It was really sad, and I think it's also just like a testament to try your best. And I know they're in a situation where they have so many different things that are impacting their lives. It's kind of the only option they have left. But just to make sure that you have some kind of independent life outside of your relationship. Because you just never know when someone might decide.
Girl, say that again. People need to know. Seriously.
And if you have to have a little secret bank account, I mean, whatever you have to have, you need to have some mattress money. Y'all heard about mattress money? There should be some. If you got to put $1 in that mattress, you keep putting that dollar in, it's going to eventually be at least a couple of hundred. I mean,
It'll
a mattress though? A mattress?
Yes.
What you trying to tell us? Right, I'm like,
stick it in there.
Sew it closed.
Right. Get you some money.
Or you can bank black and put the money.
We're giving y'all all the strategies, okay? So don't say we never touch on nothing.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, I do want to know. For me, I didn't feel like there were so many. I mean, I was kind of, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but it took us to a new way of watching Pose, right? They always give us reality. They always give us like true subject, education, like it's stand-up, high-quality TV. And I think tonight it took another turn. It opened it up to maybe awards in the future, because you're forced to kind of sit with the realization of the experience that some people go through in this country and trans people in general. But so aside from that, I really didn't have much room to like watch a lot, but we do want to still give y'all our Walk It Like You Talk It.
Hey!
And each week with the Walk It Like You Talk It, we try to take a look at the categories for the ball. We take a look at the quotes and pick the moments that we most identify with. Y'all gonna have to help me out, because I am a lost cause.
Well, I mean, I can start this time.
Okay.
Usually I'm like, I gotta go last.
Please.
I really wanted to walk it this time, okay? So you can choose between walking or talking, and I'm gonna go ahead and walk it, because the intergalactic best dressed, which was the bazaar. First of all, pray tell, when I tell you he did that on the mic,
Oh my God.
he had me scared. The camera was going all over the place. But the first person who came out, he said, what a grapefruit, what a gingerbread man, and totally out of his mind. I felt like it was underwater weirdness complete with those bubble sounds. So I'm going to go ahead and walk it in the intergalactic bazaar category.
Okay. I'm not even going front. Intergalactic was a little too much for me. Like the latex and the eyes. It was just like, it's too right. It was just too much. Like I just needed a little break from that. So I'm gonna go with a talk it here. This comes from my girl Angel. She said, you thought living on the fringes of society was going to be some kind of picnic and roses. And I think that is just so valid, so true. You know, get that experience of being the minority and seeing how that really is.
For sure. That's a good one.
Absolutely.
What about you, Jaimi?
Well, mine, comes from Stan. Stan actually, every now and then he has some gems to say. So I like that he said, I thought secrecy was holding us back, but maybe it was what kept us together. And I think that was definitely a word because it says so much about what their relationship was. And I think in that moment, he was like, yo, it's late. I don't know if I'm feeling this girl no more. And he probably made a decision on his way home.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, he did say we've been living in a bubble.
That bubble.
Yeah.
And he was right.
That bubble pop.
Keith, what did you think?
It did pop. I don't really have a walk it or a talk it. I'm sorry, I'm not walking.
See what y'all
in the
did?
car.
This episode was too much.
That category was not for me. Both of y'all quotes were perfect. I'm not gonna search no further.
Okay.
If it's
I feel you. I feel you.
That's okay. People in the live chat, people in the comments, give us your walk-its and
Yes.
talk-its. That way we can cover it up.
And we're looking.
Yeah, we definitely will. Read all the comments. All right, so enough about walk it like we talk it. Let's bounce over to news and gossip.
Spill that tea.
Brewing
In
hot.
this news cycle.
The best news, you guys, we will finally have a renewal for season 2. The news
Finally.
came out this week. Season 2 is definitely happening.
Yes.
They do not have an episode count yet for the new season, but how excited are we that we're gonna get another season?
I
of
cannot
Pose?
wait.
I'm dying
Oh
of
my
excitement.
God.
Like,
2019.
Yes.
I know,
I'm so happy.
I know. I cannot imagine. I mean, this first season has been nuts. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
Season two.
excited.
There's so much they could talk about. So I'm like, I can only imagine
You
like
know,
what these next seasons
I
are gonna
cannot
happen.
wait to see what they come up with, like over the rest
Make
of
it
the summer.
crazy.
Mhm.
And it's FX and it's Ryan Murphy and Stephen Canals and
Right.
Jada Monk. I feel like they're gonna have everybody
Right.
like come on because everyone loves the show. Celebrity
everyone.
Life. Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
loves it.
And it
Do
really
it,
just
do
shows
it.
that appreciation, you know, for an all like a transgender cast and diversity on TV.
Yeah.
So
Yes, we needed this.
yeah, we're here for
Yes.
that. In other big news, Pose might be in the Smithsonian, you guys.
Talk
Yes,
about
Janet
history.
has been in talks with the National Museum of African American History in DC, which I really want to go see one of these days.
Yes.
About collecting some objects from the show and actually having an exhibit for Pose, because as we know, it's been a history-making show. I think that would be really big and expanding, you know, the Pose brand and kind of getting people who may not know about the show, they could kind of learn about it in the museum. So that's
Right.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Love it.
And then we also want to talk briefly about ScarJo because as I was not here last week, but I know we discussed Scarlett Johansson deciding she wanted to play a trans character and being pretty strong about it with her statement, like, well, other people have done it, so I'm gonna do it. Not anymore, people. She has backpedaled on that. She's
Okay.
decided to no longer take the role. She said she had a realization moment.
Y'all made her feel
She
bad.
she came to her senses.
That's messed up.
And let's say she said, in light of recent ethical questions raised surrounding my casting, I have decided to respectfully withdraw my participation in the project. I think it's a good idea.
I'm proud of I'm proud of her
Yeah.
growth. I will say that the internet is serious business and
Oh my goodness.
cancel culture is real.
I love it.
Yes.
And also, what is it when you give backlash? Basically all the backlash from the internet, she felt that. Okay.
Yes,
She felt
yes.
that.
The community came out. We were not to be played with.
And there are plenty
Recognized.
of trans actors who can probably kill her
Yeah.
role.
I mean, she came out with her statement, and I will say this, I guess, keeping on with the news and gossip, because a lot of the cast members were here for both MJ Rodriguez and India, who plays Angel. They sat down with MTV News and had a really good, 2-minute conversation
great.
there. And then Angelica, Ross had a conversation as well. This is the video. I want to play some of this because I really liked what she had to say as far as being different, and that she doesn't have a problem with cisgender people playing trans characters. But let's just take a listen if we could.
Yeah. Excited to hear it. Well, even while they pulled it up, one thing
Yeah.
I noticed, I think that it's great that, people speaking up is what was able to get this changed. Even with the Aaliyah role with Zendaya, remember she turned that down. I know that Zoe Saldana, she didn't turn down her role, but when she was playing a
Nina
darker
Simone.
Nina Simone, they got a lot of backlash. So I think sometimes it's necessary. It's give or take. So
Yeah,
I'm glad
I
that they.
agree.
I'm
It's
glad it
happening
worked.
right now as well with Alexa Shipp for the Storm role.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For her being a
She's
lighter
always getting
skinned
backlash
woman.
with all her roles
Well,
with
let's go ahead.
Aaliyah.
I think
Yeah.
we got it queued up to jump.
Oh, there we go.
right in.
There's something that is in the news now, that has been in the news for the past 2 years. there is a conversation about cisgender people playing trans people. What is something that you can accomplish as a trans actor playing a trans character that a cis person just couldn't?
Well, you know, I am really in a different camp, and I mean, a lot of us are in this camp of, I actually am not against cis people playing trans roles. I'm all for the craft of acting. It's just that we have to be aware of where the opportunities are. And so, you know, there was a portrayal, Kerry Washington actually played a trans woman in Hot in Cracktown on Netflix. And a lot of trans women of color that we have seen this, and we love it. Like, we absolutely love it because, one, I know that Valerie Spencer was a consultant on the film, and so was working with a trans woman of color who was working with her while she was doing the film. And there were certain things that she did. She was like, girl, I'm dusted. And she would just use certain language, and it just tickled us pink, and we loved it. And I feel like what I loved most about that portrayal that she did is, at the bottom line, this was a story about a woman. At the bottom line, you had a woman playing a woman's story. What's hurtful is when you have portrayals like, you know, when you have someone like Jared Leto who accepts an award for, like, Dallas Buyers Club after playing a trans woman standing in a full beard and, you know, looking fully cis male. It is communicating to our audiences that underneath all of that, it's still a man under that. And I feel like oftentimes with casting directors and directors that I've spoken with, myself and many other trans actors have been denied the opportunity because they tell us that we don't look trans enough.
And that's perfect right
Wow.
there.
That is
I
very
was
powerful.
so impacted by that.
Really
I think
deep.
it's so well said and so poignant, because last week I was just talking from my perspective as far as like being gay and being an actor and just trying to navigate the balance. But I thought there's no better way to say it. So I was super pleased with the fact that ScarJo said no.
Yeah, and what Angelica had to say was, she said very classy. You could tell she wasn't upset. She wasn't bringing anybody else down, but she just said it can be inclusive as long as you're, you know, respecting the culture as well.
Right.
I love what she said about Jared Leto. It all made sense. It's like, oh, that's why. So I get what India and MJ had said in their interviews and what Angelica said as well.
Perfect.
I like what she said about the acting, the fact that it's an art.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like she doesn't. And I watched Hilary Swank in, I think it was Boys Don't Cry, and she did an amazing job. And so I feel like there are opportunities there, but don't like cut off opportunities for trans women to give them to cis women.
Right.
To me, I just feel like, why not have an honest portrayal of something that we could never, even if we have a consultant, I don't think that we could ever just truly understand. But hey, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to
and like she said, ultimately, you know, if you're telling a woman's story, have a woman tell that story instead of having a man tell a woman. And then just, we talked a lot about the illusion and like breaking that down to the actualization of a person. That was big for me, but I think we do definitely, Jaimi got some shout outs.
Oh, of course. So, guys, thank you so much for commenting. You guys are lit in this live chat. So, I will, you know what? You guys go ahead and comment, because I want you to let me know what you thought about Angelica Ross's, what she had to say, because she said a lot. So, before we get into that, I want to go into our YouTube comments. So we love when you guys comment, and of course, you guys definitely did that. So one of the first things that I wanted to show you guys, let's see here. Let's start with Miss Claire Dillard. You get a shout out. So hers was where she said, I am definitely here for getting a look into Portrayed and Elektra's relationship. For both of them to have been in the game for so long, there has to be a good story there. I agree. Okay.
Yeah.
On another note, I am worried about Stan. It seems like he needs that therapist or someone on the outside to talk to. I agree with that too, Claire. So what do you guys think about that? We don't really hear about a lot about Portrayed and Elektra yet. Elektra has been in the ballroom scene for many years. You would think that they would be closer, just have some sort of relationship.
I think there's some tea there, definitely. I don't think we're going to find out about it this season.
Yeah.
But I think that's an interesting point that she brought up, that they probably do have some kind of story or background that we're going to learn
They've
about.
been around long enough to have seen each other or experienced each other at least.
Why should be a flashback episode, I bet.
I feel like Elektra has been very like closed off with everyone else, and that's why Pray Tell and Blanca get along so well, because Blanca's so open and just coming to him and being his family, and Elektra's like, honey, you're the announcer, give me my award.
Right. Okay. And what
enough.
about Stan? Do you guys feel like he needs to continue to speak to a therapist?
Oh, definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, he's a confused soul.
Are y'all giving predictions now?
Well, I'm just saying, Claire let us know. She was like, she thinks Stan needs a therapist, and I kind of agree with her. I think he needs
definitely agree.
I think he needs to go back to, he needs to be with his wife. That's what he needs.
Well, yes,
he needs
that
his
too.
wife therapy.
He might need to close that chapter.
Well, y'all can tell me what y'all think about Stan when we get to predictions.
Okay.
Is there any other comments? Any other highlights before we go?
Yeah, I just want to give another shout out to Brenda. I know she had a lot to say just about the episode, giving her so many feelings from last week where they kept playing Love is the Message. I love that she also talked about, that the generation, the 60s and 70s was a generation where people were not trying to conform to societal norms. And so, when Pray Tell was talking about how he missed how things were back in the day, it kind of sheds a light on how people's mindset was back in that day. So Brenda, thank you also for commenting. But last but not least, I wanted to get into Stephen Canals' tweet. But before I even go into that, well, actually, no, let's just go into it now. He says, hey, Pose fam, if you thought the first 6 episodes of the season were too much to handle, just wait until you see the season finale. Get ready to be shook. Okay, so I'm really excited, and also I'm excited for season 2. And of course, I can't forget you guys in the live chat, so let's just see what you guys had to say. Let's see here. So towards the top, Miss Lady with a Value says, it's sad to say that it's still hard for trans girls to find real love. I can't stand that Stan would do that to Angel. So I agree with you, girl. Mr. Music Man, he's also been in the chat a lot. He says Elektra should have humbled herself and she knew the consequences of her getting surgery.
Okay.
Ooh, you
guys have a lot to say.
I mean, there's so much. They really left us in a dark place that I have no expectation. I don't know where we go from here, but I do want to jump into predictions.
Let's
the
do
it.
finale is next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Well, I'll get into my prediction really quick. I think that Stan might go back to the ball. I don't think that's the last time he's going to go to the ball because if he's trying to get his girl back, Angel, his girlfriend, he might try to make a big scene there. And I also feel like it's not the last that we hear about Patty and his boss, Matt. So, because I feel like that drama, it didn't end. Like, I feel like it's still there. It's still brewing because he still has a lot going on. And I also think there might be a fight at the ball. Okay. It's going to go down.
Okay, I think Elektra is going to join the House of Evangelista, and I will tell you why. House of Abundance clearly is no more because her children have all left to make the House of Ferocity, and I think Elektra's going to humble herself and realize like her best bet and how she can really find happiness now that she's a full woman and doesn't have the same avenues is to join the House of Evangelista. I could clearly be wrong, but that's just what I see coming. I know it's a jump. And I think the major show-off is going to be between House of Evangelista and House of Ferocity, and that's the new rivalry. As far as Stan, Angel, and Patty and Matt, I think that's all going to continue to be a hot mess. I think Stan's going to go back and forth quite a few times. It's going to be a breakup and makeup kind of situation between him and Angel, and I just hope that Angel will come to her senses and be like, to the left, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely don't think Elektra's gonna humble herself. That's for sure. She may do an underhanded thing with Blanca because she's that type of broad. Like she will be like, "I'll come and join your house," and then be like, "I'm the ruler of this house." Like that's how I feel about her. But I do think that she is going to find herself and just accept herself as a full woman and be like, "Well, let me start advertising myself as a woman with no extra body parts. This is what I am." Little Papi is going to go back to the House of Evangelista because Blanca is determined. And when Blanca's determined, stuff just gets done.
She want to get her
that's
son
just how
back.
it goes.
You're right.
Yeah.
And then Angel and Stan, he better not come back to that pier. He better not.
You know he's going to, though.
But I don't care. I said no.
I wouldn't mind it being the end of them. I don't necessarily.
I think she's going to get a
come back
rebound.
Together.
She's going to go on with the rebound.
Maybe she'll just be herself. For me, I'm trying to think prediction-wise. I don't know. Of course, we are going to see Blanca. We're going to see the House of Evangelista versus the House of
Ferocity.
We are going to see Blanca win Papi back into her house. I believe that. I don't know if we're going to see some big dramatic moment because I want there to be some kind of climax. I want us to have something to walk away thinking, what are we going into season 2 with? But I don't know. I will tell you guys this. I'm gonna watch the episode again.
Okay.
I think that that's necessary.
Me too.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
I'll probably hashtag ABTV polls, and I'll probably put a comment on the YouTube as well.
Okay.
Just trying to figure out like where my head is at because I'm still spinning.
Sometimes it takes, you gotta watch it
Me
twice,
too.
3
It
times if you have
does.
to.
I mean, I was worried about Pray Tell, but he was full of life. I was worried that he was going to
Yeah.
have some sickness or something like that, but he's full of life. So never mind on that prediction.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never know. You never know.
We didn't see too much of him, but going right off of that, and then we'll get out of here because we are running out of time. Who won the trophy for you guys?
Lulu
Okay.
won the trophy for me
Really?
today. She stepped up. She not only did she look gorgeous, like she blew my mind
She's
this
stunning.
episode in that green. She was forward thinking, empowering. She talked about them as co-mothers, as business women. She brung Candy in, which she could have easily been like, "Girl, I'm gone." And she took Papi in. Now, even though she did it with shade, Papi needed somewhere to go.
Okay. So you give it to Lulu.
This episode is so heavy, I don't even know. But I guess I'd probably give it to Elektra only because she made the choice to be her best self, and
Okay.
now she's taking care of herself in a dignified way. Even though she's doing sex work, I feel like her dignity was still there.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just gotta hustle to make it work, and I respect that. So I'm gonna give it to Elektra.
Okay.
Okay, I agree with you, but I also agree with you too. So I'm gonna go with House of Ferocity, only because they left the House of Abundance. They weren't feeling it for a long time, so they did their due diligence and they said, you know what, we're gonna pick up. We're not about to be evicted out and get our stuff from the street. We'll make our own house, and so they took in Papi. He had nowhere else to go, but it's like they took advantage, and I can't blame them for that. So yeah.
Okay. For me, I'm going to go with Papi. I mean, this is where we get to see the emergence of character, and there's so many places for his story to go. In a lot of ways, he's trying to stand up for himself and be the man that he's kind of raised himself to be.
Okay.
And I'm interested in seeing him break down further, really come into what it is that he wants for himself. Because as of now, he's supporting, he's around, he's living, or surviving, as opposed to living. We don't really know what he So
Right.
I'll give it to Papi.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
We all
Papi.
had different ones. I like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
diversity on the panel.
Exactly.
Well, we are pretty much out of time. Like I said, we got one episode left.
Oh,
I
so
cannot
sad.
wait. So we will meet you guys back here next Sunday, 8 p.m. live. You don't want to miss it because we got a very special surprise. I ain't going to say what it is. until it
You gonna like it
happens.
though.
But
You'll
you're
like
going to
it.
like it. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Keith_Andre. I'll tease and talk about it a little bit maybe.
Okay, you guys, you can find me on Twitter at It's Jaimi Gray or IG Jaimi Gray, and of course several other AfterBuzz shows. So make sure you subscribe to all of our channels.
Yes.
Hey guys, you can find me at Mariel_Turner.
And you can find me on Twitter at Deshana O.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Afterbuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the Afterbuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterbuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of Afterbuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.